Hello everyone. So here comes the next story, The Invisible Kingdom. So now let's get into the story. So tonight I'll tell you one of the oldest stories my grandmother told me when I was your age. So it is the story of a kingdom that no one could see during the day. A kingdom that appeared only when the full moon spread its silver light across the earth. Many searched for it. Kings searched, hunters searched, even great scholars also searched, but none of them ever found it. Do you know why? Grandma smiled silently because only a pure heart could see the invisible kingdom. Now close your eyes and let your imagination begin. So let's get into the chapter 1, The Curious Boy. Long ago, beyond rolling green hills and sparkling rivers, there stood a peaceful village. The villagers were simple people. They grew rice and vegetables. They cared for their animals. Every evening, children gathered beneath the great banyan tree to listen to stories told by the village elders. So, among those children, there lived a 12-year-old boy named Arav. Arav was unlike the other children. While others enjoyed playing games, Arav loved asking questions. Why do stars twinkle? Why does the moon change shape? Why do rivers never stop flowing? His parents often laughed. One day your questions will carry you somewhere extraordinary, they said. Every night after dinner, Arav climbed a small hill outside the village. He loved watching the moon rise. The cool breeze, the chirping crickets, the glowing fireflies made the night feel magical. One evening, his grandfather noticed him staring at the moon. What are you looking for, Arav? He asked. The boy smiled. I feel like the moon is trying to tell me something, said Arav. Grandfather chuckled. Perhaps it is. Day turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. One full moon night, something unusual happened. Far beyond the forest, on top of a distant hill, a silver light suddenly appeared. It wasn't lightning, and it wasn't fire as well. It glowed softly, almost like moonlight had gathered into one shining place. Arav blinked. The light disappeared. The next month, on the next full moon, the mysterious light appeared again, exactly in the same place. This time, Arav couldn't stop thinking about it. What could it be? He asked everyone in the village. The old potter shook his head. I've seen it since I was a child, the shepherd whispered. Some say it's a ghost. The blacksmiths laughed. Probably travelers carrying lanterns. But Arav wasn't convinced. Deep inside, he felt the lighting was calling him. A few days later, an old wandering sage arrived in the village. His beard was as white as clouds. His eyes sparkled like stars. Children gathered around him. Instead of telling stories, he simply smiled. When Arav asked about the silver light, the sage became quiet. For a long moment, he looked at the moon. Then he slowly said, some doors can only be opened by moonlight. Everyone looked confused. Arav stepped closer. What do you mean? He asked. The sage pulled a tiny silver feather from his cloth bag. It shimmered beautifully. There is a kingdom hidden between light and shadow. It cannot be found by maps. It cannot be found by strength. It appears only when the moon believes the traveler is ready. Arav's heart raced. Can I find it? Asked the little boy. The old sage smiled. Perhaps, but remember, curiosity opens the first door, kindness opens the second, wisdom opens the last. Then, before anyone could ask other question, the sage quietly walked away into the forest. No one ever saw him again. Here the journey begins. For many nights, Arav couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the mysterious kingdom. Finally, the next full moon arrived. The village slowly fell asleep. Only the crickets sang beneath the stars. Arav quietly packed a small cloth bag. Inside, he placed a lantern, a loaf of bread, a bottle of water, a rope, and the silver feather the old sage has secretly left on his windowsill. He whispered, "I'll be back before sunrise." Without making a sound, he stepped into the moonlight forest. The forest looked completely different at night. Tall trees swayed gently. Owls watched silently from their branches. Tiny fireflies floated like living stars. The moonlight painted everything silver. As Arav walked deeper, he suddenly noticed something strange. The silver feather in his pocket began to glow. The deeper he walked, the quieter the forest became. Even the wind seemed to stop. Then a soft whisper floated through the trees. "Follow the moon." Arab quickly turned around. No one was there. Again the whisper came, "Follow the moon." The glowing feather gently floated out of his pocket. It hovered in the air, pointing toward the distant hill where the mysterious light always appeared. Arav followed it carefully. Soon he reached an enormous stone arch covered with vines. There was no gate, no wall, nothing behind it, only empty air. "Is this it?" he wondered. The silver feather floated to the center of the ark. Suddenly, the full moon emerged behind the clouds. Its silver light passed through the ark. A low humming sound echoed through the valley. The ground gently trembled. Golden vines began glowing. The empty air rippled like water. Slowly, an enormous crystal gate appeared from nowhere. Behind it, Arav saw something impossible. Tall golden towers, floating lanterns, crystal bridges, silver waterfalls, gardens glowing under the moon, a magnificent kingdom hidden from the world. Arav whispered in amazement, "The invisible kingdom!" The giant crystal gates slowly opened by themselves, inviting him inside. So, Arav stood behind the magnificent crystal gates. His heart was beating fast. Should he step inside or should he turn back? Well, curiosity is a funny thing, my dear. Once it opens a door, there's no closing it. Now listen carefully. As the giant crystal gate slowly opened, a cool silver breeze welcomed Arav. He stepped inside. The moment his feet touched the shining marble road, the gates quietly disappeared behind him. Arav turned around. There was nothing, only endless moonlight. He looked ahead. The kingdom was more beautiful than anything he had ever imagined. Tall crystal towers sparkled like diamonds. Silver fountains flowed silently. Golden bridges stretched across glowing rivers. Thousands of moonflowers bloomed everywhere. Yet, something felt very strange. The streets were empty. No children laughed. No merchants sold fruits. No horses ran through the streets. No music echoed through the palace. Everything looked frozen, almost as if time itself had stopped. As Arab walked through the royal gardens, he noticed hundreds of beautiful birds: blue peacocks, golden parrots, white swans. They all stood perfectly still. Not one of them moved, not even their feathers fluttered. Arav slowly reached toward a tiny bluebird. The moment he touched it, the bird blinked, then suddenly flew it into the sky. Its joyful song echoed across the kingdom. One by one, every bird came alive. They began flying happily. The entire sky filled with colorful wings. Arav smiled. "What happened?" A gentle voice answered. "The kingdom remembers kindness." Ara quickly turned. Standing beneath a glowing moonflower was a young girl dressed in a shimmering silver gown. The girl smiled warmly. Her long silver hair sparkled beneath the moonlight. A tiny moon shaped crown rested upon her head. Her eyes shone like stars. She bowed gracefully. "Welcome, traveler. I am Princess Chandra." Arav bowed nervously. "I'm Arav. Where is everyone?" The princess looked around sadly. "They are here, but they cannot truly live." Arav looked confused. The princess gently waved her hand. Suddenly, figures appeared throughout the kingdom: shopkeepers, children, soldiers, gardeners, musicians, yet every one of them stood perfectly still, like just statues. They are trapped, whispered Chandra. The princess slowly began telling the kingdom's story. 500 years ago, our kingdom was filled with joy. People helped one another. Music filled every street. The moon blessed our land every night. Then a powerful sorcerer arrived. His name was Varunak. He offered the king endless riches, mountains of gold, jewels beyond imagination. The king refused. Our people are already rich, he said. Because they have kindness, Varunak became furious. If you treasure kindness more than gold, then let kindness save you. He raised his magical staff. Dark clouds covered the moon. A terrible spell swept across the kingdom. Time stopped. Birds stopped singing. Flowers stopped blooming. The rivers slowed. Everyone became trapped between life and sleep. Only the royal family remained awake. But there was one final condition: the kingdom would appear only beneath the light of the full moon, waiting for someone brave enough to break the curse. Princess Chandra led Arav into the ancient palace. At the center stood a glowing crystal pedestal. Upon it rested an old scroll. Its golden letters slowly began shining. The princess carefully opened it. It read, "When the moon chooses a child with a pure heart, the path shall appear. The child must solve the three riddles of wisdom. Only then will the kingdom awaken." Arav swallowed nervously. "Three riddles?" The princess nodded. "Many have tried. Kings, warriors, scholars, none returned." Arav looked frightened. "What happens if I fail?" The princess became silent. After a long pause, she whispered, "You become part of the kingdom forever." The room suddenly became very quiet. The princess walked toward an ancient table. Upon it lay a glowing silver map. But something strange happened. The map had no words, no villages, no mountains, only three glowing symbols: owl, river, and a star. The princess explained. The first symbol belongs to the elder owl. The second belongs to the river of truth. The last belongs to the star keeper. Each one guards a magical riddle. Answer all three, and the curse will disappear forever. Before sunrise, Princess Chandra handed Arav a beautiful silver lantern. Unlike ordinary lanterns, it had no flame. Instead, moonlight glowing inside it. "This lantern will never show you the shortest road. It only shows the right road." Arav smiled. "I'll protect it." The princess looked into the night sky. "You must leave now. The kingdom appears when sunrise begins. Return on the next full moon." The crystal gate appeared once again. Arav slowly walked toward them. Before leaving, he turned around. The princess stood smiling. Although sadness filled her eyes, hope had returned. For the first time in centuries, Arav raised the silver lantern. "I promise I'll come back, and I'll free your kingdom." The princess smiled. "The moon believes you." The gate slowly closed. The invisible kingdom faded into silver mist. Moments later, Arav found himself standing alone beneath the old stone ark. It was morning. Birds chirped happily. The mysterious kingdom had vanished. Only one thing proved it had been real. The magical silver lantern still glowed softly in his hands. Arav looked toward the rising sun and whispered, "I'll be ready." So, my little one, Arav has discovered the truth. The invisible kingdom is trapped under a 500-year-old curse, and only he can save it by solving the three riddles of wisdom. But do you think the riddles will be easy? Oh no. The first riddle is guarded by the oldest owl in the world, an owl that has never accepted a wrong answer. We'll discover what happens in the next part: the three magical riddles. Good night, my loved ones.